I'm here in Odessa, Ukraine. Behind me is the St. Mary's Church, where shortly a commemoration service will take place to mark 2 years since the street battles between the pro-Russian and pro-Ukraine activist forces claimed 48 lives in 2014. There are still rumours of police complicity, and not a single trial has been brought to date in the deaths of those 48 people. There is concern, there is worry. Tensions are rising in the city, but at present it seems calm. One would hope it continues that way. This is James Drew, EU reporter in Odessa. Oleg Voloshin, International Secretary of the Opposition Bloc here in Ukraine. We stand here on the 2-year anniversary of the atrocities of the 48 deaths that took place. What are your thoughts and feelings 2 years on?
First and foremost, we naturally mourn for the people who died for their convictions. We may like or dislike them, we may share them or not share, but those were civilians that were effectively killed with no investigation as of now finished. And the other feeling I have is surely outrage and disappointment with the lack of results of investigation. 2 years after those who committed that crime were not only punished but even named. And it creates the distrust in the society, and especially in the Odessa community, towards the government and towards the country in general, because without sharing or not sharing the views of those who were killed, people demand fairness. They want to know that they live in a country where there is a rule of law, and any murder is properly investigated and the murderers are punished. And that's the principal feeling that I have now.
There was talk of complicity by the police on both sides, with the pro-Russians and the pro-Ukrainians. Do you feel that was the case? And do you feel anything will be done to address that?
Absolutely. As an observer of the situation, I don't put the blame on one side. Both sides is to be blamed for the atrocities there. But it's not about calling the names of those who did it. It's about the lack of investigation. And there is a suspicion if the government cannot find for 2 years, although there were lots of videos recorded, a lot of photos done, that objectively it's not after all a murder of John Kennedy, you know, not a big secret actually. With the political will, the investigation would have been long finished. So it doesn't matter that anti-Maidan or Euromaidan is to be blamed. Doesn't matter who. The question is, where are those who committed it and why are they not in prison yet?
There was talk ahead of today, 2nd of May, of rising tensions. Do you feel that today will go off calmly? What do you think the chances are of further unrest?
Unfortunately, there is a big political game around this tragic date. The government should have allowed for the relatives of the victims to mourn for those beloved ones and to commemorate them. Instead, everything was done to preclude people from attending the places, the so-called Kulikov field in Odessa, where most of the people were killed. And too many political forces still try to misuse this date as a pretext to promote the ideas and to undermine the credibility of either governor or the mayor. And this competition between the governor and the mayor, that both effectively represent the current political forces that came to power after Maidan, this rivalry between them adds to the tensions more than any ideological gaps. What is important for our European audience to understand is that it's not a continuation of conflict between the pro-Russian and pro-Ukrainian forces. It's the other political forces that just use this tragic date as a cover for their political plans. And we have a very famous governor here, Mikhail Saakashvili, who used to be a president of Georgia, who has a say in national politics, and not everyone likes it. And some political forces are really interested in discrediting him. On the other hand, the mayor of Odessa is in conflict with the governor. And this conflict between them creates the greatest problems for us and creates the greatest risk of some misgivings and some news commissions. But we really hope that with goodwill of the police chiefs, with goodwill of the politicians, this day would be really a mourning day, not a new tragedy.